Welcome back, guys. In my last episode, I said that we will work on creating the um, forms functionality of saving restaurants. Now, what I have realized is, although we have made everything as per the requirement, but the main important thing which is still pending is we haven't installed Passport, and hence um, I will not be able to make API calls from Axios to the API.php with authentication layer, because what I'm trying to do is I'm going to make an HTTP call with this data, and I'm going to say that this current user restaurant, and then create, right? So I need that authenticated user, and so for that I'll need Passport. So let's see how we can install Passport. I'll go to the documentation, and so the first thing is obviously to do a composer require, and I'll do that first. All right, so we have the package installed. Now let's go step by step. So this is done. I need to do a migrate so that my database entries are updated. Fair enough. um, Passport install. This will generate the access tokens and also create certain keys, right? Or the key was in next step, I think. Let me see quickly. So I'll go here and storage. Yes, so these two keys are created, which are basically responsible for creating that hash, which is the OpenPGP format. So yeah, that's there. Now in my user class, I need to use the has API tokens. So user.php has API tokens. All right, this is done. Next, you should call Passport routes method within the boot method of your auth service provider. So let's pull up auth service provider in here. Copy this. Class is imported, so that's done. Now in my auth.php, the configuration file, I need to tell Laravel that my authentication driver is now Passport. I think it's by default token. So defaults guards API driver is token. I will change that to Passport. That's done. And these are all custom migrations. I don't need to work on these items. The only thing which I need to do is consume your API with JavaScript, right? So I need to add this middleware, which basically creates a fresh API token on every request when I'm making any call to API.php, any routes inside API.php. Okay, so yeah, I'll open kernel.php of HTTP, and in here, I think it's inside the web, right? Yeah, the web. I'll add this, and I think if everything is all right, I should be able to. Let's see. So inside my Vue components, restaurant add form, why don't we have a created method for some time? Add this, import Axios from Axios, and yeah, I think this should work. So let's see. This is running. I haven't made any changes and created resto add form. Okay, it's add form, so I think it will only be executed here, right? So we are able to make that API call, right? This is the response which I'm getting. I think this is correct. Why don't we do this as well, just to ensure that we are looking at the correct console log. Yeah, so we are getting it, which means if I go to api.php, right, I am able to access this URL which has a middleware auth API, right? So yeah, I think our passport installation is done. And now let's quickly go over the requirements to create a route which we will use to add the new restaurant. So I'll create a group. Okay, I'll have a parameter. I'll pass my first argument as a array, and this is resto. I think I have a restaurant controller. Restaurant controller, yes. So I'll use restaurant controller at the store. This is the method which I need to create. Right, and let's just, for the time being, ensure that we are able to do that. So this is going to be a post call, right, to this URL, and on that, so I'm doing on emit, right? On emit, I am raising this event. Why don't we remove this created? It was just for testing purpose. So come back here, restaurant add group, restaurant group, right? So yeah, we are here. I'll have to take it here so that on the right hand side, so that I can see the add button for time being. So yeah, add, I'm getting this which is here. So I need to handle the Axios request here. So import Axios from Axios. So yeah, I have Axios here. I'm getting this data. So axios.post API slash, what was the URL, resto. Okay, now I'll send this data, and then response. Okay, console.log response response.data, and I should get back whatever I'm sending, right? So hit refresh, check, check 2, and I'm getting back address check, name table name check, and table 2, right? So this is working, and we need to save it. So let's start. I'll have a variable called post data which will do this validate, pass the request object an array of rules. We have this validation rules. So name is required, address is required, tables is required. Name address should be minimum 3 characters, and table should be an integer. Okay, with this done, I need to first get the user and then create a restaurant. So we get the user object as auth user. Okay, we can also get it through request user, but okay, this is also fine. User.php, the relation name is restaurants, so restaurants create. Right, so I'll send a response of 201 with the newly created restaurant object, and So I have this authors here. Let's see if this works. Right, refresh. Dummy Vashi Navi Mumbai. I think there will be an error. Yes. So let me see this. No, what is the storage file? Storage logs 23rd. That's strange. Internal error. And I have a problem in here. Let me see what happened. Why can't I scroll? Damn. Okay. Insert into restaurants, column not found address. Right. So I think there's a problem in the naming convention. Where is my migration? I must have made a mistake because there I think it was location. This is category tables, restaurants. This is location, right? So I will keep it consistent. I'll make this location. Okay, which means my Vue.js post data should change accordingly. So I'm not sending location from here. It's the add form. Add form has a text field which says address, which is fine, but it should bind to vmodel restore.location. Okay. Name should be location. That's fine. In here, the basic object which I'm creating is location. And I think that's about it, right? I don't think there's anything else. Let's search for address. Address. No. So address. These are the two instances. Hit refresh. Get it to the right. Pop up. Console. Dummy. Vashi. Navi Mumbai. 5 and add. Wow, that's nice. We have. Oh, I'm so sorry. So I need to think. Do the migration again, is it? No. Why? It says bad method call exception. Ajax. I think this cold is driving me nuts. It's not response. No, response dot. That's strange. Actually, that's correct. So home controller, menu controller. Oh, sorry, it's JSON. Yeah, I've written it so many times, but sometimes you just miss that. Okay, so back here. I hope everything is correct now. Let me try Vashi Navi Mumbai 5 save, and we have an error again. This time, what is the error? Unknown column tables. Don't we have the tables column? No, we don't. So integer tables default 1. Okay, refresh. What happened? So it's too few arguments. Integer. Damn this syntax. All right. Yep. I think I should be able to send it again. Yes, I do. So now I am getting the fourth object back, the ID 4 with my new restaurant. So now this is working. Now the only thing which I need to do is push it here. Now I'll quickly go over some of the issues which we have. So first of all, the group is getting the restaurants as a props, right? Now I can't add a new object to the props. So we'll have to make a local property out of it. and on created, okay, this is fine. And then our v4 should be on this, and this dot unshift response dot data. Okay, so if you're confused, so let me first run that and then I'll explain what I have done exactly. So this is here, dummy is here. I'll just refresh it so that I only have 3 restaurants. 1, 2, 3. The new one, Vashi, Navi Mumbai, 5. All right. So this is coming up. So what have we done? Just refresh again. What I'm saying is this component, this restaurant group component, which in our case, let me come over here. Restaurant group, this main container gets all these restaurants as a props. Okay. Now by default, props are read-only data variables, which means we cannot remove or add items to them. Okay, but definitely what I can do is on created, I can assign it to a local variable, and then my component depends on the local variable to work, right? So that is why everything here remains the same. I just said v4 resto in local resto instead of the restos which I was using previously, and I created that data variable. On save success response, I'm just adding it there. Now because this is only one line of code, I don't need that. I can just do this and we are done, right? Yeah, I think this is good. Once this is done, I will just do this so that the pop-up is closed. So I'll refresh my database again, hit refresh. I have 3 restaurants, adding one more, 5 tables, add, and here we have, and let me add one more. All right, so so where is my computed property? I think the computed property is being, you know, yeah, it was still respecting the props, which is still 3, I think, and that's the reason we have the problem. So I'll refresh again. So now I have the plus button, resto 1, address 5, add, this is done, resto 2, check, 5, add, and now the plus button is gone. So our basic validation logic of a user be able to only add 5 restaurants is also in place. And if we do php artisan tinker and do restaurant all, right, so you can see I have these restaurants with the owner id 1 because the relationships are working. So yeah, our controller is using the ORM to create a restaurant. Let me just tackle this, right? So auth user restaurants, and I'm able to get auth user only because I have passport installed, which means the tokens and the middlewares are handling the tokens and giving me the user object, right? So I'm getting the user object, I am able to access its ORM properties, and I can create a new restaurant based on that. So which means I don't need to manually give the user ID. I don't need to leak that. Okay, so that's done in terms of the PHP code. We came into the group. The first thing we had to do was, handle the Axios, make that post call. On response, we had to add the new restaurant to our um, you know list of restaurants. Now these were properties coming from Laravel as a props to this component. So yeah, so we can't change or modify the props. So we added a local variable. On created, we assigned the props to the local variable, and then everything was based on the local variable. And we have this. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, do click on the thumbs up icon and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.